A woman in Ohio buried her husband on a Tuesday. By Friday, she walked into the same bank the two of them had used for 41 years, went to pay the funeral home out of their savings, and the teller slid the paper back across the counter and said the account was frozen. Her name was on it, just not in the way she thought it was. 41 years of marriage, and Carol could not reach a single dollar of her own household's money for almost 5 months. Here's why I need you to stop scrolling. If you're married, you're over 60, and somewhere you've got a checking or a savings account the two of you just call ours. This can happen to you, and almost nobody finds out until the day it's too late to fix. The bank already knows how your account is really set up. The county probate court knows. Not one of them is ever going to mail you a warning. And on the day it matters, the one person who could have fixed it, you, won't be in the room. So stay with me to the end, because there's a single form, it's free, it takes about 10 minutes at your bank, and it shuts this whole nightmare down cold. That's the last thing I'll hand you, and it's the most important thing in this video. Now, I already know the two thoughts going through your head because I hear them every time. The first one is, we have a joint account, so we're fine. It just goes to the survivor. Sometimes, not always. And the gap between sometimes and always is the entire ballgame. The second thought is, this is a rich people problem. We don't have enough for it to matter. That one's backwards. If you're living on a fixed income, a frozen account for 5 months isn't an inconvenience. It's the rent. It's the light bill. It's the insulin. The less cushion you've got, the more this one can hurt you. I'm not an attorney, and I'm not a CPA, and nothing here is legal advice for your exact situation. What I am is the person willing to explain, in plain English, how this actually works. So you can walk into your bank this week and ask the one right question. And before I get into it, do me a favor. Tell me down in the comments. Is your main account joint, single name, or do you honestly not know? Be honest. I don't know is the most common answer there is. It's also the dangerous one. Let me show you exactly how the money gets locked, because once you see the mechanism, you'll never forget it. The day a bank learns that one of its account holders has died, and they learn fast, the funeral home reports it, Social Security reports it. The bank has a legal duty to protect that money until it knows who's actually allowed to have it. If the account was in your spouse's name alone, it freezes, solid. A spouse, a will, 41 years together. None of that lets you walk in and pull out a dime. In the eyes of the bank, that money now belongs to your husband's estate. And only a probate court can say who gets an estate. That's the wall Carol hit, in dress shoes, 3 days after the funeral. Here's the part almost nobody explains to you. There's a specific legal setting on a joint account, and it's called right of survivorship. In plain English, it means the second one owner dies, the other one instantly owns all of it. No court, no waiting, no asking permission. If your joint account has that setting, you really are mostly fine. You bring a death certificate to the bank and you keep your access. Good. That's how it's supposed to work. But here's the trap, and it's a quiet one. Not every account people call joint actually has that setting turned on. Plenty of them were opened as what's called a convenience account, or titled as tenants-in-common, or set up so long ago that a clerk just never checked the right box. Those do not automatically pass to you. The share belonging to the person who died slides straight into the estate, into probate, right next to a single name account. Same freeze, same weight. And this is the cruel part. It looks identical on your statement. You cannot tell which kind you have by looking. Carol was certain hers had survivorship. It didn't. She found that out standing at the counter with a funeral bill in her hand and a line forming behind her. So how long is the wait once an account goes into probate? It's not a week. In most states, settling even a clean, uncomplicated estate runs several months, and a messy or contested one can drag past a year. And that whole time, the frozen money just sits there. The mortgage company doesn't pause. The power company doesn't pause. The pharmacy doesn't run a tab. I've watched people put a spouse's funeral on a credit card at 18% interest while an account with plenty in it sat locked 20 minutes down the road. When that happens, the system isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. Keep a dead person's money away from the wrong hands. The trouble is, it can't tell the difference between a stranger and the widow who paid into that account for 40 years. And it gets one turn worse, so stay with me here. Social Security does not pay a benefit for the month a person dies, not even if they were alive for 29 days of it. So if a payment lands in that account after the death, the government reaches back in and pulls it out, and the bank has to hand it over. The survivor can watch that last check appear, feel 1 second of relief, and then watch it vanish. If nobody told you that was coming, it feels like one more robbery in the worst month of your life. It isn't a scam, it's just the rule. But nobody warns you, and that's the thread running through this whole thing, isn't it? None of it is hidden, and none of it is explained. There's a flip side to that same rule, though, and it's money moving in the other direction, so file it away for the day you need it. When a husband or wife on Social Security dies, the survivor doesn't only lose the smaller of the two checks. They may be able to step up to the larger one, keeping the bigger benefit instead of their own. And there's a small one-time payment, around $255, that a surviving spouse can claim on top. It isn't a fortune, I know, but it's real. And here's the theme again. You have to ask for it. In the very same weeks the freeze is doing its damage, there are survivor benefits the widow should be filing for, and not one of them arrives on its own. You claim them or they sit there. All right, that's enough bad news. Let me arm you, because every single piece of this is preventable and not one part of it needs a lawyer. Move one, and you can do it this week. Call your bank or walk in and ask them one exact question. Is my account titled Joint with Right of Survivorship? Say it in those words. Don't let "yes, it's a joint account" be the answer you accept. That is not the same thing, and a lot of tellers will smear the two together without meaning to. You want to hear the words "with right of survivorship." If it isn't set up that way, ask them what it takes to change it. Usually it's a signature, sometimes it's a short new form. It's almost never hard, and it's almost never expensive. Now the big one, the form I promised you at the very start. It's called a payable-on-death designation. Some banks say POD. Some call it transfer on death, or TOD. Here's what it does, in plain English. You fill out one short form at your bank and you name the person who gets that account the moment you die. Not through a will, not through probate. Straight to them. When the time comes, that person walks in with a death certificate and their own ID, and the money is theirs, often in days, not months. It sits completely outside the reach of the probate court. The freeze can't touch it. And here's why I love this one for regular people. It's free. Naming a payable-on-death beneficiary costs you nothing at almost every bank in America. A lawyer-drawn trust that does the same job can run you hundreds, even thousands of dollars. This form does it for zero. While you're alive, it changes absolutely nothing. You still own every penny. You can spend it, move it, close the account, or change the name on the form any day you like. The person you named has no access and no say while you're breathing. Then the day you're gone, it flips to them, clean. Two honest cautions, though, because I'm not going to hand you a tool without the safety instructions. First, name a backup. If you put down one beneficiary, and that person happens to pass before you, and you never update the form, the account can drop right back into probate, the exact thing you were trying to dodge. So name a second person behind the first. Second, a payable-on-death form overrides your will. Whatever the form says, wins. So if your wishes are complicated, or the person you'd name is on disability, like SSI, or on Medicaid, talk to somebody before you sign. A sudden lump of money can knock a disabled person off the benefits they live on. For most married couples just naming each other, it's clean and simple. Just make sure it lines up with the rest of your plan instead of fighting it. One more move, and it's the cheapest insurance there is. Keep a separate account in the survivor's own name, the spouse most likely to be the one left behind, with 2 or 3 months of the basics parked in it: rent or mortgage, utilities, groceries, medicine. Because even a picture-perfect joint account with survivorship can hit a short hold while the bank verifies a death, and you do not want your wife standing in a bank lobby explaining to a stranger why she can't buy food this week. Run your own number on that. If your must-pay bills are $2,000 a month, that's $4,000 to $6,000 she alone controls, sitting quietly in her own name. A little money that's entirely hers means the worst week of her life doesn't also turn into the brokest. And while you've got the bank on the phone, take a hard look at one more setup. The folks who added an adult child to their account just to help pay the bills. I understand why people do it, but understand what you actually did when you did it. You didn't just give them permission to help, you made them a legal co-owner of that money, and that means their problems can become your money's problems. If that child gets sued, goes through a divorce, or falls behind with a creditor, your account can get dragged into it because on paper, part of it is theirs. Worse, when you pass, depending on how it's titled, that whole account can legally go to that one child, instead of getting split among your kids the way you always pictured it. If that's your setup, it's worth a real conversation, because a payable-on-death beneficiary lets someone help you without handing them ownership of everything you spent a life saving. And let me tell you who this hits the hardest, so you know exactly who to send it to. It's the couples where one person always ran the money and the other one never looked. It's the second marriages, where the accounts and the kids don't quite line up. It's the folks who added an adult child to an account just to help with the bills, and accidentally built themselves a legal mess. And it's every single person over 65 with a solo account and no beneficiary named on it. Because for them, there's no survivor to even argue about it. The account just freezes and it waits. If that's you, the payable-on-death form isn't a nice extra. It's the entire plan. So let me put it back together, quick before you go. Money sitting in an account with the wrong title freezes the day the owner dies, and it can stay locked in probate for months while every bill you've got keeps coming. You beat it with 3 moves. 1, ask your bank the exact words, joint with right of survivorship, and fix it if it isn't. 2, fill out the free payable-on-death form. name a beneficiary, and name a backup behind them. 3. Keep a small emergency account in the survivor's own name, so a freeze can never leave them with nothing. The people who do these 3 things aren't richer than you, and they're not smarter than you. They just found out before the worst day instead of during it. Carol found out during it. 5 months, on a fixed income, in the year she lost her husband. You get to find out today, on a normal afternoon, with a phone in your hand and plenty of time to fix it. So do one thing for me. Send this to one person over 60. The sister, the neighbor, the friend you know has an account they've never once checked. This is the kind of thing people only ever wish they'd heard in time. If it helped you, a quick like tells the algorithm to push it to more seniors who need it. And if you want more like this, subscribe and I'll keep them coming. Then tell me in the comments, when you check yours, what do you find? Joint with survivorship or a surprise? Go make the call. It's 10 minutes and it protects the person you love the most.